back to Harrison Family Farm. It is Sunday, December 15th here on the farm, and it's actually supposed to be a pretty decent day. And what that means for us here in Kansas City is that it means it's going to be above 40s, and in fact, it's supposed to be like 50-something degrees. So I'm actually excited and hopeful about the possibilities of today, because there's a few things that I've been wanting to get done on and around the farm. But however, they are on the back burner for the moment because I do got to work this morning a little bit. And so that's actually what I'm headed off to do now. That way I can free myself up to be able to accomplish those things I mentioned. Well, I didn't mention them, but like I mentioned. So yeah, I'm preparing to head out. It's probably like 9:30ish. Hoping I can get home at least before lunch at the latest. And that way I can kind of knock out some things I know I mentioned to you guys before. Or maybe I didn't mention it. Maybe I only thought to mention it. But I want to take the dog house that was on the side of the house, or on over there by my trailer, and I want to move it to where the goats are. That way they can use that, because up until this point they've just been using kind of a makeshift house that's just back there in that back field or whatever the case may be. So I want to get that moved, but that's going to involve me getting the tractor up and going, and it really takes a warmer day, because that's an old diesel engine, for that thing to want to start. So hopefully today's that day. I'm hoping that when we get to the peak temperature for today, probably around, I don't know, 1 or 2 o'clock, I'll be able to get a battery in it, get the tires aired up, and then get it to go ahead and start up, get that done. And got a few other things I want to do too. Want to give you guys some updates as far as some progress I made in the basement. Also, we've added and decided on an additional color as far as the basement wall color. So I don't know if you guys have, I guess you wouldn't have unless you follow Angela's other page, which for those of you that didn't know she had a page, yes, Angela has a page, but a YouTube. Unless you follow Angela's YouTube channel, you probably wouldn't know, but I'll leave a link to it. It's called Angela at Home, so you guys go check that out, especially those of you that desire from that in-home kind of content. Now, I will warn you, she's not a regular poster, but heck, nor am I, as you can see. Not like I'm supposed to be, so just FYI. What else? But yeah, guys, like I said, I'm gonna hurry up and shoot out here, try to just finish up on this job. It's really mainly what I want to do is just make sure that it looks well. I think I finished last night, but it was dark, and so I just want to go put another set of eyes on it, also get some finishing pictures, that way I can send it to the customer, and that way I can get paid. But yep, I'm just gonna gather a little bit of tools that I need, because I took some out of my truck so that I could work on the basement a bit last night. And so I'm gonna grab what I took out, that way put it back in my truck, and I'm gonna go ahead and head out. The only thing about it, I'm probably gonna spend more time driving to and from the job site than actually being there. It's actually about 30 minutes each way away from me. So it is what it is, but we're gonna get it knocked out. And yeah, let me get myself together, and I'll check in with you guys a little bit later. We're now on the work site, and just in a bit of full transparency, this is my I came here and left and ran to the hardware store just because when I got here I saw something I didn't like. The work that I mentioned to you before actually looks great, but some work I did here previously didn't look so great, and so I wanted to get what I needed to kind of touch that up and get it fixed. And I'll show you guys what I mean. All right, guys, so a couple weeks ago I installed this canopy. They had one before, but it had ripped and come off. And when I got here today, unfortunately, this side right here had sheared off. And you can see right there, that hole, that's actually where I had a fastener or a screw in there. And I guess we got some high winds last night, and it ripped right out of there. And so what I'm gonna do now is actually use a different, bigger fastener. First, I just had some Tech screws or some self-tapping screws holding it up there. And so what I think I'm gonna do now is actually put in some bolts to hold it down, just to resist the wind, because naturally it's much like a parachute. It captures a lot of wind, and I guess it's putting a lot of force on those fasteners that I have in there. And so just to prevent them from having any issues in the future, I'm gonna drill some holes, and then, like I said, get some bigger fasteners in there. Really hoping that takes care of it. I really don't see any other reason it would have failed unless I over torqued it when I installed it, which could happen. And essentially what happens is you put a screw in, you over tighten it, and you go beyond its tensile strength, and then it weakens it, and so it can break, much like what happened here. So let me get me a few tools out. Like I said, this part was unexpected. What I was actually coming here to do was just check up on some brickwork I had done, which is this right here above this door. You can see it's all new mortar there. And so got a brush. I'm gonna clean out some of those mortar lines, grout lines, or whatever you want to call it, and just make it look a little bit prettier. And so that's actually what my focus was going to be today. I'll put a before picture on what it looked like before. It was actually falling and leaning forward, and so I was able to get that patched up and taken care of. And so I'm still going to do that, but I think the first thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and knock out getting this thing secured. So yeah, a little bit more than what I bargained to do today on my Sunday. Like I said, I had some things around the farm I want to get done, but hopefully this actually doesn't take very much of my time and I can just knock it out real quick. So let me stop bumping my gums and I'm gonna get to it. So repeat this process, but it looks to be a much bigger diameter fastener here. I went from screws to actual hex cap bolts, so I'm expecting a lot better results. All right, guys, so I got all my new bolts installed all the way around, all four corners. And like I mentioned, I'm expecting very much better results with these bolts, given the diameter is so much bigger. And so now on to the reason I'm out here today, which, like I said, I'm gonna just take some water on a brush and clean this up just a little bit, get some of the excess mortar off of the brick face, and just make it a little bit prettier. So we're getting to doing that now. Hey guys, just checking back in. So I actually just finished up. It didn't take me too long. It probably took me maybe an hour to get both tasks completed. So here's our finished product. As far as the brick, it's still wet. You can see it's dry in some areas from when I wiped it off. But I got a lot of those grout lines, well, not the grout lines, but I got a lot of the face of the bricks clear, which is my goal. And so yeah, that ash will just wear off over time, and I'll wipe it down maybe one more time just to be sure to get that film off. But other than that, that's going to do it for me here. And so I'm happy to report that I can finally end my work day. But now I'm going to head to Feldman's, actually. So it's on my way back home. I need to get some dog food as well as some feed. And then we'll head back to the farm and see if we can't get there in a timely manner to get a few other things done as well. So I'll check back in with you guys in a bit after I make it back home, or at least close to home. Hey guys, so we have made it to Feldman's. It is a little bit later than I hope. It actually is about 1:30, and so I might go ahead and head in here. Like I said, I need some dog food and some feed, and so I'll run in here, get those things. And I actually need some wire too. I got I know I mentioned to you guys probably months ago, maybe 2 months or so now, that I wanted to add some additional electrical wire in that field area where I got the goats at currently. I never did that, unfortunately, and I got comfortable with the goat staying in there. So the male goat, he actually got out or have been getting out. And so I want to go ahead and remedy that. So I might get some wire, because either I'm gonna run an additional electric wire at the bottom, or I'm gonna take some chain link fence that I have and just kind of tie it in. But either way, I'm gonna need some wire to do it, because I would tie the chain link fence in with some wire. So go in here and grab those few things, and then we will head to the farm and kind of check on the family, and then see about getting outside and taking care of some things. All right, guys, so I've made it back home, and behind me here, this is actually the doghouse I was talking about. It was originally a doghouse, but we're going to use it for the goats' home, and I'm thinking about making a few alterations to it before I actually take it back there for them. One of which being actually closing this opening, and just for the extra material to act kind of as a wind block. Naturally, our goats aren't nearly this size, and so I think I can reduce the size of it and still give them ample room to get in and out of it, but also create a wind block, so it's not so much air that's able to flow inside of it. In addition to that, I'm thinking I'm also going to put, I don't know if it's going to be temporary or not, but some type of support bar across here. I made this all of pallets. This is 3 pallets. This floor is a pallet, and then the side walls are a pallet too. And so I think I'm gonna put a piece of 2x4 to connect the pallets to pull from, because I really don't have a anchor point or a strong point anywhere else to pull it from, because that's what I'm ended up doing, is dragging it. I actually had attempted to move it by hand earlier this week. You see I put some PVC pipe under it, hoping that it would roll, and it just didn't work out well for me. And so yeah, I got plenty of sheet goods, or pieces of sheet wood rather, and so I'm just gonna cut a piece of an approximate size and throw it up there. Shouldn't take me but a second, and then see about getting it moved. All right, guys, so I just found a piece of scrap wood here that I have, and so I made me just a general mark on it to know where to cut it. I'm gonna give me a T-square, take my line all the way through, so I can follow it with my saw, and then we'll get it put on the doghouse, or the goat house. Here's our piece. This is our trash. I'm gonna find me some screws, and then we'll get this installed real quick. Unfortunately, my board isn't flat. It's gotten wet, so it's got a bit of a wave to it. But again, I'm not really concerned about that. Go ahead and start my screws. That makes it easier. Should have started 2 screws. Oops. About to take my head off. Okay, that should do well. Again, I'm just trying to block the wind. That's really my only purpose in putting this piece of wood up. And now I guess I'm gonna try to look for me a 2x4 I can cut and put in down here at the bottom, like I said, to pull from. And it's just gonna be temporary. So 38 inches. I think that'll do well. Get some screws, I'm gonna put it in this board, and then now we got a pull point. So she is now ready for transport. I just now got to get see if I can convince the tractor to be ready. So I'm gonna go do what I need to do to prep for that, and I'll check back in. It's gonna be a pretty nice day. You see the sun is out. I've even actually come out of my coat, and so first things first, I got to take the battery out of my van and put it in that tractor in order for it to start. I've yet to replace that tractor battery, and I probably won't, to be honest, until about spring. But anyway. Gonna give me a few tools, that way I can disconnect the connections, and then we'll get it over to the tractor and see if we can get her to fire up. And there we go, she's disconnected. We'll leave a wrench here. Actually, I'll probably need it on the tractor. Put these up so we don't lose it. We'll grab our battery and head on back to the backyard where the tractor is and see what we come up with. Next things next, we'll go ahead and get our cables off of the dead tractor battery and then swap it out for the good van battery. Set you guys down while I take it out and put in the other one. This battery is a little bit bigger, so I gotta put it in a little weird. Then let's get it tightened up. And let's hope for the best on our pots. Okay. Now the moment of truth. I'm not sure if the glow plugs on this thing works, but I always turn the key just to see, as if they do work. Figure better to than not to, right? There you go. Come on, baby. There she is. On the first try. So now that she's on and running, we'll go ahead and get these tires aired up. And then I'll probably think I'm gonna take the brush hog off for what we're about to do. But first things first, I'm gonna get these tires aired up. Alright guys, so we got the tractor up and going. I don't know if you saw on that front tire, without the air pressure, that, what I want to call it, oh man, what can I think of it, the stem, it likes to recede back into that tire, so I have to take a pair of pliers and a pair of vice grips to hold it out until I can get enough pressure on it for it to stand firm. The tractor's up and going. I don't think I'm going to take the time to take the brush hog off just because I'm running short on time, so I'm gonna just take it over as it is. Hopefully it doesn't cause or become too much of a headache. So I'm thinking I'm gonna just take this rope I got right here conveniently and just attach it to the back of the brush hog somehow, some way. We'll see how it works and how it lasts. I never did Boy Scouts, so I'm not the best contact. That shouldn't go anywhere. Now before I actually go down here and do this, I need to get the female goat and kind of restrain her, tie her up, just because I gotta take a portion of this fence down to get the tractor in here. The tractor's too wide to fit, and I think you guys have seen me do this before. But yeah, I need to, get her, tie her off somewhere. That way we don't have any prison breaks or escapees. This should be fairly easy. Yeah, she's likely to come right up to me, actually. Well, hey, goats. And right on cue. Hey, baby. So come on. So I'm just gonna tie her to the other end of the rope that he's tied to currently. Girl, that's not for you. Please don't knock it over. Okay, goats are situated. We can go do what we need to do. Really hoping I don't accidentally tip this house over, although it's not that heavy. I can't flip it back, but yeah, it'd just be best if I didn't. We'll put this up here for now. And then let's get our fence ready. So not too bad. You can see we left a trail, a few marks, but not too bad. I got caught up on this stump right here, but thinking I can pull right over it down. Not going much further. So it's pretty much where I want it. I am going to turn it facing that way. That way, I know they're not getting any north wind. I think that's gonna do it for them. You can see it's right here by the water, so pretty central. And I also This is where I throw hay out to them, because during the winter, naturally nothing's really growing back here. So when I go in there to pick up the cows' wastings, I usually just throw them down here for their goats. And you guys can see Biscuits. She's right over there. Tried to catch her earlier while she was chewing. And then there's Jay, and then B back there too. But we're gonna get our tractor back up topside, get our fence back up, and then we'll see what's next from there. In the middle of turning around to get the tractor to go back up, I ran out of fuel, which sucks. I really should have checked that first, just because this thing can be hard to prime again. So we shall see. Hopefully today is not one of those days where it's really hard. Only thing I got working in my favor is that we are supposed to have a couple back-to-back good days. The coats are already getting in the house, so that's at least one good sign. But yeah, hopefully it's not too hard to get her primed and started again. But it has been at times in the past. Really wish I would have checked that first. I just assumed that I had enough fuel in there just because I haven't used it a lot lately. But you know what they say when you assume. And so, sure enough. But I'm gonna go up here and get my fuel tank. I think I got some diesel in it. Hopefully I do. And we'll see if we can't get her started again. Dry as a bone. Okay, that's the better majority of it. Fingers crossed. Get a starter brake. Otherwise, what I might end up having to do is cracking the injectors, and essentially that just means loosening them up. That way it can push any air that's in the system out. But hopefully we don't get to that. But at the same time, I don't want to run my battery down trying to get it to start. That fuel ain't made it up there yet. Well guys, I'm gonna go get a wrench, I guess. I see about cracking these heads because I don't want to run the battery down. And I also am fighting time as far as how long my tires, particularly that front tire, stays inflated before it deflates. So, yeah. Well guys, just checking back in. I've ended up cracking the injector lines. You can see these are the nuts here. Still haven't gotten any fuel out of it. I've even tried blowing air in here to kind of push the fuel forward. And then on top of which, I also have loosened my sight glass here to make sure fuel was there. As you can see, it's still damp because fuel was running off. I then checked my fuel filter, backed it off. You can see from when I had fuel running out of there, fuel is there. And so I guess it's just not quite made it to the pump. And so I'm gonna get nothing out of the injectors, but I can tell my battery's fading on me. Daylight is fading on me. And also my tire, my front tire over there is fading on me. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to pack it up for the day, take my battery up top, get it charged. I do got a small pancake air compressor, so I can bring it down here to air up the tires. That's not a huge thing. I just really didn't want to have to go through all that though, but it is what it is. I've yet to get any fuel to come out of my injector lines, and so yeah, it's kind of disheartening. And I know I put a fair amount of fuel in it. I might go get some more fuel too, just to go ahead and top it off, because it's not full by any means, but I think it should be higher in here than where my system is, so gravity should allow it to flow there, is my thought. But and I also might look at seeing if there's a bleed port on the pump. I might look, just do some Google searching to see if that's a possibility. I suspect it would be here or here, just so you guys, here or here. But I don't want to mess with the wrong one and end up messing with any kind of tuning or timing or anything like that. So I'm gonna do my research to be sure. Like I told you guys, it can be a booger to get this thing started once you run it out of fuel. And shame on me, shame on me, shame on me for not looking to be sure. But yeah, this is a lesson I'm not looking to repeat again. So I'm gonna get these things wrapped up. I got my tools down here. I gotta take this battery up, of course. Then I gotta get the animals fed too before it gets too dark. So I guess I'm gonna push pause on this, get everything secured, and it should be fine overnight, hopefully. I do gotta work tomorrow, but I might get away early enough that I can come home and work on this and get this thing up and going. Just because I definitely want to do it before it gets cold again. I think tomorrow's supposed to be nice as well, and hopefully it's not raining. We shall see. But yeah, words to the wise, if you got a tractor or any kind of equipment that doesn't have a working, or it doesn't have a fuel gauge at all, it doesn't have fuel gauge, check it before you run it. I knew better and I still did it, so yeah. Anyway, guys, I'll check back in with you guys once I get everything squared away. Hey guys, so I finally have made it inside. I was able to get the battery. It's in the garage charging, and I just called it quits on the tractor for this evening. Sorry, I keep looking away. I'm kind of distracted by some football. The Bills and the Lions are playing right now, but I did tell you guys that I was going to give you a couple other updates as regards to the basement. Not a whole lot has gone on, just to be honest. One thing that has changed is I kind of have pivoted and kind of put my focus towards Antonio's room, and that's really because Angela had the idea of, she was just kind of posed the question of, do you think you can get it done by Christmas, you know, as maybe an additional Christmas gift to him? And so I don't know how close. I'm pretty close, I guess, as far as being finished with the walls. I got a few more coat joint compound I want to do, just to kind of smooth things over. And outside of that, it's ready to prime and then paint. Now, we've actually already gotten the primer, and we'll probably get the paint here in the next few days. Oh yeah, I did mention to you guys that we decided on I said a fourth color of paint, but what it is a variation of a color that we showed you guys. And so the color is accessible beige, and we actually decided to go with it, but a lighter tint of it. So I think we're going to do about 75% of the tint. And we got a little bit of it on the wall. I'll take you guys downstairs real quick and kind of show you guys. All right, guys. So this is the new color here. I know it's hard to kind of see on camera. It doesn't really come through that well. It almost blends in with the drywall, to be honest. But that's the color. I think that's the color. And the reason I say I think, let me tell y'all, this woman has been giving me an absolute time about this wall color, what color we're going to use. So that actually might be 80% versus the 75% that we're going to go with. So that might be just a tad darker than what is actually going to end up being. But you can see I have, like I said, not a lot of change in the basement, but yeah, I have begun taping and mudding everything. Let me see, I'll get you some light and I'll show you the difference between this and some of the progress I made in Tony's room. Like you still see that, you can still visibly see the tape. You can see the corners aren't done yet. Well, that corner's not done. That one actually is over there. But Tony's room is actually a little bit further along. Let me get some light over there real quick. Okay. So yeah, you see, you can't see the tape anymore. It's actually pretty smooth already. It needs to be sanded, but other than that, and then you can see, well, I'm in the shadow, but the corners, you don't really see the tape. I need to do this side. This one's already done. That's why it's so wide. But yeah, progress is being made. We'll see if I can't get it done in time. Like I said, today is the 15th. So I got some time. And truth be told, after I finish my mudding, which is really maybe just one more session, I just want to do the opposite corners. Like I said, this corner's done, but you can't do them both at the same time. So I need to do my opposites. Same by the door. Same over here. That's why the right side is further out than the left. And then I got to do the closet. I haven't done either corners in the closet just because I had just done the seams. And I didn't want to bump up against them and mess them up. And so, yeah, we're getting there. We're definitely getting there. As it relates to his room in particular. The only reservation I have with finishing his room before the rest of the basement is the flooring. I don't want it to, what I mean is we're not going to have any transition strips. It's just going to be one big floor, right? And so I would end somewhere in this doorway, and I wouldn't want him, myself, or anybody else to trip over it or to mess up the flooring, because it's going to be tongue and groove. And so those pieces need to be able to interlock with one another. So that's my only hesitation or reservation. We'll see what I come up with, or if I change my mind or what have you. But yeah, slowly but surely, things are coming right along. I'm trying to think of what else I was going to share with you guys. I think that was it for the most part. I think there was a few areas outside I wanted to kind of speak to you guys about as far as fencing, but as you guys know, we didn't get around to messing with the fence just because of what happened with the tractor. I ended up working on the tractor at least another hour or so after I stopped recording, in between when I stopped and when I started again, just trying to get it primed and trying to get that fuel to come up to that past that pump. And the unfortunate part is that I'm on a hill with the nose of the tractor in the air, and gravity is definitely working against me in that case. So we'll see what I come up with. Like I mentioned, I do got that pancake air compressor, so I might just try putting some air pressure on the tank. I tried to blow in it, but that compressor make more pressure than I can, my lungs can. And so I might just try to get that fuel to go ahead and meet the pump, because it's crazy to me that I didn't have fuel at the pump or coming out of the injector lines yet. So got to get that taken care of. I don't think it's a big deal, or it shouldn't be something like a big ordeal. It should be pretty easy once I get things situated. If not, I'll probably end up taking my truck down there and pulling it back up to top. So hopefully it doesn't come to that. I really don't foresee that happening, but that's kind of the ace in my back pocket should I not be able to get it started how I think so. So I think that's really going to do it for me this week, guys. Sorry for the delay, man. Life has been lifing. Holiday season, work, and everything else. So forgive me. Looking to do better, but I appreciate you guys. Leave me a comment down below. Be sure that you like, subscribe, and share. And until next time, guys, peace.